Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and as you can see, I've got the tie on, we've got the Top Hollow music going on in the background, and as you all know, that means that it is time for some more Pokemon Sleep news. Now, this is kind of very interesting what's going on. I wasn't intending on making a video about this. I wasn't intending on making any videos because any of you that have been following the channel know that my computer's kind of on the fritz right now. But I do have an additional laptop that I can do stuff on. It's just not as reliable and not as high quality as my computer, so I was kind of worried about using my laptop to record, but I saw there was some news tonight, and I didn't want to not talk about it, so I figured, you know what, I'm going to figure out how to do this on my laptop, downloaded OBS, set up the scenes and stuff, and we're now recording. So I'm sorry if the audio levels are a little off. I might be a little loud, I might be clipping or something. If that's happening, leave a comment and let me know, because if I make any more other videos in this time, then I want to get that fixed. But I had to talk about this because this is some cool stuff. So, what is going on? Well, we've got a new arrival, Mawile, and a new event that's coming around with it. Now, honestly, I'm not all that pumped for Mawile. I think Mawile is pretty cool. It's a cool Pokemon. I'm excited to see it. Some people think that might be alluding more to the whole Mega Evolution concept because Mawile is a very famous Mega Evolution. And a lot of people weren't really expecting Mawile to be added to this game, but it's a Steel type. It's slumbering as we would expect, and it's spawning at Green Grass Top and Old Gold. Not really too much to say about it other than it's got Ingredient Draw S. Hyper Cutter, specifically, is the variant that's on that. Now, we don't know really what's this going to do. We know it's going to be very similar to our other Ingredient Draw Pokemon in the game, which is currently Honchkrow. But instead of the odds of getting Dream Shards instead of ingredients, it's got odds to get more ingredients than usual. So, like a random chance to crit, basically. Which is pretty nice. It should theoretically do ingredients better than Honchkrow should, theoretically, if it is a skill specialist for this skill. But we don't really know what its specialty is because they don't confirm that anywhere throughout the description of this. And personally, I'm hoping it's not a skill specialist, because getting another 16-pip skill specialist single stage at this point, that'd be just so many more resources. We're already being asked, if you want to get everything right now, like, you have to invest so many resources, and this would just be another one of those things to add on to that. But what is this event that is coming out? Now, this is the bigger news. If it was just the new Pokemon, I probably wouldn't have made a video about this. I probably wouldn't have downloaded OBS on my laptop to figure all this out. But you know what? Packed Portions Cooking Week Part 1. Now, before we even get into what is going on with Packed Portions Cooking Week, we have to first discuss this Part 1, because this is very, very intriguing. We've never seen an event really with a suffix like this. If we take a look at the past special campaigns, which are like the repeating events, something that I noticed, the news is actually divided between special campaigns and events. And special campaigns seem to be like smaller events. Events are like the big events that they announce, like Cresselia versus Darkrai. And in fact, if we go into here, I can actually just show you. Events are like the big events. The new Moon Day event. I guess Good Sleep Days are also for some reason categorized in here. But like Cresselia versus Darkrai, Holiday 2024. Like bigger stuff. I guess there are also some of those things aren't that big. But I don't know. They have these divided up. And special campaigns in here. We got this new one here. The laptop's a little slower than my regular computer, as you can see. But yeah. Part 1. Why is that intriguing? Well, if you look at some of the other ones, we have Volume 5. If you looked at all the Good Sleep Day events while I had them up there, it was like number 1, number 2, number whatever. Event, Pokemon Growth Week, Volume 4. Dream Shard Week, Volume 1. Volume 5 for Growth Week. They're all volumes. Nothing else in here has, like, part listed, which almost implies that this, you know, it could be a 2-week event. Maybe it'll be a 2-week event that is split up across, like, not back-to-back, but maybe it'll be like part 1, week off, part 2. We don't know. The only thing that we have is the information about part 1. So, what's happening during part 1? Well, it looks very, very intriguing. Crazy powerful event. Snorlax gains from dishes are multiplied by 1.5. Now, that alone is one of the most powerful boosts in the game. If you can particularly plan your meals, then this is probably one of the strongest boosts they can give for an event week. The only modifier that I can think of that comes to a 50% increase to things is, well, sometimes they boost main skill procs by 50%, but realistically, a lot of the strength for most players comes through cooking, so just boosting that by 50% flat is just so much more boosting than skills. Like, skills, when you boost them by 50%, okay, your healer procs 50% more, but what does that really do for the team? You get diminishing returns on many of the main skills. Very few main skills can actually take advantage of a full 50% boost. This, on the other hand, is just a flat 50% boost to all cooking, so that is a pretty powerful boost. But on top of that, they're making it so that your cooking pot is 50% larger, or 200% on Sunday. So this is potentially the largest meals that we'll ever be able to make. At least for a very, very long time, and they're multiplied 1.5. Now, the first thing that comes to mind for this is if you don't want to necessarily use this event to push for strength, which is an opportunity, I think if you are trying to gun for M20 at all the islands, this is a phenomenal event to do this for. Especially because you don't even need a good camp ticket, because one of the biggest boosts that good camp ticket does is it gives you a 50% larger pot, making you able to make the largest meals without a pot expanding Pokemon. This, you can just do that without a good camp ticket. So this is a very free-to-play friendly event in my mind. Because it's making it that you can actually reach those goals without the good camp ticket being run. It might be a little bit more difficult because the 20% frequency makes a difference, but oh well. It's still a very good event. But one thing that I think that this can be very good, well, used for is if you have a team that's based around a meal, and you haven't run that meal yet because, well, it's one of the more expensive meals. You can only really make it on good camp ticket weeks. And usually good camp ticket weeks, you want higher strength. But if you're wanting higher strength, then you probably don't want to be running the meal you've never made before that's level 1. I know I run into that a lot because I don't really level my meals all that often in off weeks. This is a phenomenal event for that purpose because not only is the meal's base strength multiplied by 1.5, but you can stuff it with more filler. So ultimately, in the end, you're ending up with a highly accelerated rate of meal leveling. So I think that is something to look into with this. Now, additionally, some Pokemon with the ingredient specialty and certain Pokemon that have the skill specialty with cooking-related main skills are more likely to appear. So they're boosting the spawns of certain Pokemon that are boosted. And it's from June 9th to June 16th. This is, in fact, I think 2 weeks away? Yeah, 2 weeks away. And it's in all areas. You don't need to go to a particular area. But what are some of the other boosts? Well, Pokemon recover 5 additional energy from dishes. Anyone that's using a little bit of a weaker healer will definitely enjoy this boost. It's not a whole lot of extra boost, but basically just another reason to make sure that you're getting all 3 meals in a day and not missing any meals. Because that 5 additional energy, while it won't make or break your team, is a nice little added boost. That's an extra 15 energy across the day. That's an extra 150 minutes. That's 2.5 hours of extra productivity for the whole team. So it's nice. Main skill, Ingredient Magnet, and Ingredient Draw S effect is multiplied by 1.5. Now, this is a very potent boost to those main skills. It's a bit sad that it's not boosting their levels at all, but in effect, this is boosting, like, their level a decent amount. I kind of wonder if we look at, say, if we look at the main skill, Ingredient Magnet. I should have made this comparison beforehand. I apologize for the delay. We may not be able to look at it. Let's see. Please hold. I want to see how this actually compares. And I promise you there's no editing on this laptop because ain't no way it can handle that. We're just live recording it. Okay, so while that loads, it is a pretty significant boost. Don't get me wrong. Okay, 50%. So if it's level 6, or if it's level 1, boosting it by 50% brings it to 9, which is almost level 3. Boosting it on a level 3 by 50% will bring it to Let's see, that's 16 additional. It's like boosting it by 2 levels. So it's like a +2 main skill level, but it can go beyond the maximum. Is what I'm seeing that for Ingredient Magnet. Don't know how it compares for Ingredient Draw, but nobody really has. Not very many people have good Ingredient Draw Pokemon anyway right now. But yeah, 1.5 times meal boost. We already talked about that. And then here's something very interesting. Every time that a helper Pokemon with the ingredient specialty brings you ingredients as it regularly would, it will have 1 extra. Now, this is a weird buff. I've always found this to be one of the weirdest aspects of the we typically think of as the standard type bonus for events. Typically speaking, they add 1 ingredient to the pool for all of its ingredients. Well, this is interestingly a bigger buff for skills and berry specialists, as they're adding a flat 1 extra ingredient to a smaller base amount. So percentage-wise, ingredient or berry and skill specialists gain more from this buff than what ingredient specialists would. But in this case, it's only applying to ingredient specialists, which just means that if you're following the mono ingredient meta, man, you're going to be rotating your Pokemon out of there real quickly, because you'll be making boatloads of ingredients that you probably don't need. So what's interesting is it's not increasing ingredient rate at all. So you're not going to more reliably make the ingredients you want, but the procs you're going to get are bigger. So you're still going to pull in excess. You'll be able to rotate them off sooner, which is interestingly going to lead to probably more usage of berry and skill specialists in the meantime. Dedenne is going to be very potent in this event. But yeah, Mini Candy Boost, always a phenomenal thing to see. I love seeing Mini Candy Boost. And then also Pseudo Balance Sleep. That's always a good thing too. Now, what are boosted? Well, greater appearance rate, Mawile. If you want Mawile, now's the time to hunt it, so then go to one of the islands where Mawile spawns. But other thing that's boosted, they're not boosting every ingredient Pokemon, or even every Pokemon that has a cooking-related main skill. For this first time, for whatever Part 1 means, they are boosting just, it looks like, just the Pokemon that are, like, related to ingredient magnets and ingredient draw for skills, and then just a few of the Pokemon a few of the ingredient Pokemon, not all of them. Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle. So we got the Kanto starters, Ghastly, Pinsir, Eevee and Heracross tie in together for Vaporeon, Dratini and Wooper, Aaron, Delibird, Happiny, Sprigatito, and Fuecoco. Very interesting selection of Pokemon to be boosting, and there have been a lot of questions about, like, why did they select these Pokemon? And if you have any theories as to why these ones specifically and not other ones, leave those down in the comments. I'd be glad to hear from you. But yeah, if you want to go for Mawile, Top and Old Gold are definitely the places to choose. Just because it is they're the only non-green grass locations where it spawns. So if you want the event Pokemon, that's where to go. But otherwise, I mean, just consider what you need in your box. I would say this is a great event for if you haven't found that sausage farmer, then maybe go to either Top or Old Gold to hunt for Aaron or Charmander. So, like, consider what you need to fill out your box and go there based off of that. Although I will give the heavy asterisk of probably try to avoid 16-pip Pokemon, just because 16-pip Pokemon I think are often trap options in this game. The only one that's really worth genuinely hunting in the current stage of the meta right now is Dedenne. And we'll see with Mawile. We don't know what Mawile's case is going to be, but it's probably going to be a similar result just because it is likely to be a 16-pip Pokemon. But it still might be kind of interesting. If there's ever a time to hunt a 16-pip Pokemon, it is during its event boost where they have a greater appearance rate, because that's a pretty significant boost. So now's the time to hunt it. If not now, you're probably never going to get an opportunity like this again. So lots of opportunities here. Very interesting event. I'm very happy with it. Even though I'm not that excited to see another 16-pip Pokemon added, which, by the way, it's a Steel type. It's appearing at, like I said, Green Grass, Top, and Old Gold, Slumbering type, and it's got the same skill as Murkrow, Honchkrow. Ingredient Draw. It's but it's got a different variant that isn't Dream Shard. It just has a chance to crit to gain in more ingredients. So theoretically, this skill is better at producing ingredients than Super Luck is, but we don't know yet until we see the rates and make the comparisons. So, and also, it's not even guaranteed to be a skills specialist. I think there's a higher likelihood of it being an ingredient specialist, just because we already have a skill specialist with the skill. We don't need another one with the main skill, and they're specifically calling out ingredient specialty and certain Pokemon that have the skill specialty. So that kind of makes me think that given this seems to be an ingredient Pokemon festival, I think it's probably going to be an ingredient specialist, but there are no guarantees yet. So, but there might be something interesting going for it. Only time will tell. So, yeah, if you have enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Down in the description, we'll have a link to join the Discord. You can come join us, hang out, talk about all things Pokemon, Sleep, and the like with a cool community of people. I've also got the join button. Feel free to click that if you want to support the channel in that way and are financially capable of doing so. Huge thank you to all my members. It really does go a long way, and I do appreciate it truly. And as always, I thank you all for watching and hope that you all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye now.